We technically could call this a grab bag.
We could technically call it
But
a
I
grab
don't
bag.
think that's going to fit all in the I don't even think all these titles are going to fit in the title when I go to write this out. So this may just be called a grab bag.
Whoops.
Um,
Anime grab bag.
the anime grab bag. I got to talk into the microphone, not away from it.
Also known as Al kept getting recommendations on Netflix and Verve, and she just kept going with it.
I mean, if you keep going down that route on Netflix, it's going to lead you into watching Evangelion, and no one wants you to watch that.
It was recommended, and I'm like, nope,
I'm sorry.
skipped.
I'm sorry.
I mean, of course it would recommend it to me.
Yeah, of course.
And I've watched it before, but like, no, thank you.
But it's the greatest show ever.
Is it?
Yeah. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Season Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about anime, manga, video games. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Anne Ladyem.
Hello.
As we now have everyone just getting mad at us and yelling at us on the internet. Hey, I mean, if they didn't yell at us about Fire Emblem, why would they yell at us about Evangelion?
I'm actually very shocked that like we had no negative response to our Fire Emblem podcast.
It's because no one listened to it. That's why.
Possibly.
They're like, oh man, we saw you talking Twitter. We're not going to listen to this.
If you.
Get out of here. Yeah, you just randomly binge watched like 3 series in like 5 days.
Yeah.
Because that's how you work.
But it's funny because I don't usually do that kind of stuff.
Right, you were just like, hey, I watched an anime. I was like, oh, all right.
And then, hey, I watched another anime. Oh, okay.
All
I watched
right.
another anime. What?
Okay.
But usually I have a very hard time. But again, this fits my, like, what is the right word I'm looking for?
Your mode of operandus.
Yeah, that they're all short. They're 1 season and they're less than 15 episodes.
That is true.
So that fits with my my typical anime watching, unless it's for like Jared and Al watch.
Yeah, what a great podcast you can find on seasonanimecheckup.com, Jared and Al watch, or on iTunes and Google Play.
Nice.
But before we get into all that, we gotta hang on. Oh man. All right, there's 1. There's 2. Gotta dig in there deep. 3. All right. Well, this last one's big. All right. There we go. All 4. All 4 out of the grab bag.
Nice.
The last one though is a lot. I need to take a drink of water after that.
It's basically like Moby Dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Oof.
Big book.
Well, I meant the actual whale itself.
Big whale.
But I mean, also big book.
That's what I thought you were going with.
No, but.
So yeah, Al watched a bunch of anime, and you have there's a multiple layers here.
Mm-hmm.
You watched a bunch of animes. I was like, hey, we should probably talk about that. Yeah. And also, you have a weird schedule coming up, so
yes.
It's just an easy podcast that we can do.
Yeah, I have a very
Easy
weird
peasy.
schedule coming up.
Yeah, so let's talk about some anime. We haven't done that in a while on here.
We have not. Well, since I decided that I was gonna binge watch several series, I guess that's what we get now.
You were just like you were waiting. You had to take time off and refuel the anime coffers and just go all in on 3 different series at once.
Yay!
When was the last time we talked about an actual series, not a movie? Okay, I guess the JoJo episode. That was like 2 months ago.
Wow. Well, we're not talking about JoJo today.
We're not talking about JoJo today.
So I guess I'll go ahead and start.
That is what we decided on before we started recording.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to figure out like where I should start.
Right.
I think I want to start with Anohana.
Yeah, I figured you were just gonna go in order of how you watched them. That's just what I thought.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense. I'll do that. So the first one that I watched is Anohana, the flower we saw that day is the
Mm-hmm.
subtitle. Um,
Um, can I briefly mention that this is the only thing I'm going to be able to really talk about with this, because I have not watched this. The only thing I know about it is that like I've seen it pop up here and there in anime circles. I've covered it in my giant project I'm doing still, and also it was written by Marty Okada, who's done quite a few different anime that I've watched, like such as Toradora, the second season of Darker Than Black. Um, what else? She did the series composition on an anime that's roughly based off of The Tempest.
nice.
Yeah.
Why haven't we
Uh,
watched that?
that's a I have it in my queue on Crunchyroll. I just have not got into it
Man.
quite yet. And she also did Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, which was a series that started off really good and then just completely spiraled out of control
Oof.
by getting real bad. But yeah, that's she is very famed in being a writer for anime, and also, like I said, done quite a few things that I've been into. So that was a key name that I saw pop up when I looked into this. I was like, oh, I know this person. Or
Nice.
she wrote the novel of it. That's the key thing here, and then wrote the anime series. Um,
Ah. Nice.
so there you go. Background information. I get to contribute.
You will also contribute on more than that. I'm sure you will. Um, yeah, so I had no idea what I was getting into, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix was like, "Hey, you should watch this." And I forgot why I was even on Netflix. Cuz
Like most people.
well, yeah, but like I don't usually go on Netflix. But I was on Netflix and there was something that I was doing.
You were watching. Was that what that the one show you were watching was on, or was that on Verve?
The one show I was watching.
The one that has like the Dragon Ball, and it was real. It was
Oh,
the K drama show.
yes, Abyss. That's what happened is that I finished watching Abyss and then this one popped up and it said you should watch this now.
Cause sure.
And I was like, okay, sure, it looks cute. I'll watch that. And then like I got into the first episode and you start off with this character named Jintan. Jinta is his real name, but they call him Jintan. And he's kind of like this like messy haired teenage boy and your
Dime a
introduction
dozen.
well your introduction to him is like he's in his house playing video games and like some high schoolers walk by and they're talking about like boning and he essentially yells about like oh man you perverts with your sex drives I wish you would all die. Also just he has his hair like in a straight up ponytail on top of his head, which is hilarious. So I was like, all right, I guess that's an introduction to a protagonist. So I wasn't into it yet, because he seemed just grumpy. And then this girl shows up in like a white dress and is begging for ramen. And he's saying, no, I'm making my own ramen. And he keeps saying that like his grief shows its way and it shows its face in very weird ways. And I'm like, that's an odd thing to say while you're making ramen. And she keeps just like screeching at him that she wants her eggs scrambled, and he doesn't do that. And then his dad comes in. His dad is like the happiest man ever, and he calls everything cute. Everything is cute. If it's not cute, then he sounds dejected. He's like, well, that's not cute. Which is amazing. I love his dad. And so he also asked for some ramen, and Jintan's like, okay, sure, I will make you some ramen. She's like, why? So they have their two bowls of ramen. They sit at their table, and girl in the white dress like sits on his lap, which anime.
Yeah.
So he kind of like passes out. His dad's like, are you okay? Is everything fine? Why did you just pass out? Um, and then you realize that like he can't see her, like the dad can't see her, and that she's just kind of like there, and communicating with Jintan, but like she's not really there. Um, and so he keeps saying, it's like my summer ghost or whatever, and then it turns out that she's dead, and she's kind of like haunting this kid. And it's like, oh,
Spooky.
I guess all right. So once all of that is figured out, like let's see where we are here. I need to actually like look at what I'm supposed to be talking about as opposed to going off memory.
Can I do an interjection while you try and find that?
Yeah.
So there's a live action television series
Mm-hmm.
for this show. The actress who plays the lead girl,
Minma.
Menma, she is also in the live action film of Ace Attorney. She plays a young Mia Fey, and then she's also in Let Me Eat Your Pancreas, which we still have
Oh,
to watch at some point.
wow. Interesting.
So there you go. There's more interjections of facts, Jared.
Cool. Well, um,
Back to the studio.
back to the studio, yes. So Minma decides that like, oh hey, she's dead, but she has a wish that she needs to fulfill, and that he has to help her fulfill this wish so that she can move on. And while all this is going on, this girl named Anjo shows up and is dropping off some homework, and Minma is calling her Anaru, and Jintan's like, no, do not call her that. She's not that anymore. She's like, what do you mean? She's not that anymore. And this is where you find out that he's become like a hikikomori. He just doesn't leave his house ever.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't go to school. He doesn't ever do anything really. So it's interesting that his dad is so cheery when his son is like that. But he later on explains it, and I will talk about that hopefully if I remember. So Minma is not understanding why they're not all friends still, and is upset. And Jinta goes and talks to Anaru, and they run into some of their other friends who are in like the fancy high school in the area. That's like the prep school for college. I forget what they're called in Japan.
Cram school.
Cram school. Like that's what they're called. They're like this. The school is specifically like a track to go to this one particular college.
Oh, cram school is usually the thing you go to after school.
Yeah.
That's probably just smart person school.
Yeah, it's like the prestigious school in the area
Yeah,
that like
that's
is
probably the way to go with it.
kind of like guaranteed that you get into college if you go to that one.
Right.
And Jintan says Minma's name and gets a really bad reaction from everybody. And so, he has just left his house for the first time in a long time and freaks out because everybody's mad at him. So he just runs off. So he starts thinking about the past and what happened. And they were all friends together, and they formed a group called the Super Peace Busters. And they would hang out all the time at this like little clubhouse type thing. And it shows this flashback where Anjo asks, or Anaru, whichever you want to call her, she asks like, hey, Jintan, do you like Minma? And his response is something to the effect of like, well, who could like that ugly good? And then she just smiles at him and runs off. So everybody chases after her. Something else happens, but it's not clarified. Jintan feels like he needs to go apologize because he feels like he should not have said that. But she died.
What?
It is implied that what happened is she was running and she slipped and fell into the river and drowned, like when she was running away from them. Because you keep seeing like a cliff and then a shot of like her shoe just floating in the water.
Mm-hmm.
but like it's never actually clarified what happened, but I assume that's what happened. So that's like our first gist of like, oh yeah, she's really dead. She's been dead a long time. And she decides Minma, as her ghost form, goes to her family's house to see how they're doing. Her little brother has gotten bigger, obviously. But nobody really pays attention to him in the house. And her mom just sits at the little like shrine area that they have for her and prays constantly. And the dad is just kind of like there. And so she's like, oh, okay, I guess this is what's happening. So, Jintan's like looking around because he gets home and realizes that Minma's gone, ghost Minma. So he decides, like, oh, maybe she's back at the fort. That's the one place that I think she would go. So he runs back there. And then the last of their friends is there. His name is Popo. And Popo has become a very large man, but also just lives in the secret fort now. There is a weird gag that's explained a little bit in the next episode, which I'm gonna bleed into. Here's the next episode now. That Popo is like, yeah, so I dropped out of high school. It wasn't really for me, and I've just been doing a lot of traveling. And he's got like this map on his wall of like all the places pinned where he's been, and he's just been living in the secret fort like anytime that he's like in the area. And also like really obsessed with like Southeast Asian women, and I'm guessing he means like maybe Thai. He keeps saying Southeast Asian.
I guess that would be it. I had to look at a map.
Yeah. Well, because I know that a lot of people call like Japan Southeast Asia, but like I would
Right.
consider more like I would say Thai is probably the best that it like the best guess on what it is. But he has an obsession. He also has a ton of porn. So he actually believes Jintan about the whole thing. He's like, okay, cool. She's here. Where is she right now? Why can't I see her? And then like tries to talk to Minma and all that, but he can't interact with her. And so they all are really starting to like communicate with each other again and figure out like how to navigate each other. So one of the first things that happens besides like I said, Popo just believes it instantly. He's like, cool, yeah, we're buds again. What up? How you doing? And so the first person that they go after to try and like get the group back together and figure out what this wish is Anaru. And she has been blaming herself this whole time because she was the one who asked, like, hey, do you like her? So she felt like she kind of set everything into motion. Um, and so they're trying to figure out like what could this wish be? And they're thinking, oh, hey, maybe there's that rare Nokimon that she really, really wanted. Maybe we could get the Nokimon. You know who would have that? Anaru. And she works at like a used game store anyway, but she also has the game. So they like connect together and they end up getting the Nokimon, but it is not the wish. But it ends up making them a bit closer together. Um, and Anaru is asking, like, hey, maybe you could come back to school. That'd be cool. And he's like, I don't know, maybe.
Eh.
But it really solidifies like Jintan wants to apologize to Minma about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess to kind of like truncate a lot of what happens next, it's very, very weird. Is that they decide that they're going to have like a party to try and like get Menma to show up because Popo saw Minma walking around, and Jintan's like, that's weird. She said she wasn't there that night. That's okay. But yeah, we'll look for her. That's fine. So they just have this party. Also there's this weird part where like Jintan decides he's gonna go back to school, and he like says hi to Anaru, and she's excited because he's there, and then her friends are like, why is this loser here? And he's like, fine, I didn't want to go to school anyway. Turns around, just goes back home.
Gotta go.
And she's like, ah, you guys. So that was kind of sad. I say as I laugh. It was just very odd that, you know, she had tried so hard, and then he's like, oh, yep, never mind. This was a terrible idea. So yes, they are going to have this party to try and find her. And what's the dude's name? The dude that reminds me of Space.
What a comparison.
Yeah. Yukiyatsu is his name. Yukiyatsu. So Yukiyatsu is like, hey, you know, I saw Minma too. She was over by the river. And so everybody runs over there. They're trying to find her, and like, she's not here. What are you talking about? And the girl who always hangs out with Yukiyatsu is I will never say her name right. Sarumi, I don't know.
Hang on, I'm gonna look this. Which character is this?
Churiko is her first name.
Suruko.
Basically, she like calls the bluff, and she's like, I know who this Minma is. This is a fake Minma. What's the outfit like? And like, yeah, it's a white dress and a blue ribbon, and like the wig. Well, it is a wig, but then the hair. And she's like, yeah. So that's not her. And they end up giving chase, and he ends up tripping, and it is freaking Yukiyatsu, and his wig falls off, and he starts crying, and he's in this dress, and apparently he's just really, really upset that Minma showed up and talked to Jintan and not him. Also, he's been keeping this like dress in his closet for like a couple weeks now, and just sniffing it.
That's weird.
Yeah, he also sniffs the wig, and I'm like, buddy, it's gonna smell like you because you've been wearing it. But it's very, very creepy and odd. And so he also blames himself for her death. Surprise, surprise. Because in the whole event of things there, that like, she says, do you like her? He says, who could like an ugly person like that? She runs off. Yukiyatsu like follows, and essentially is like, hey, he doesn't like you, but I do. Here's this hair barrette. I hope that you like it. And she's like, oh, cool. And so like does not return the feelings there. So he feels like he's to blame because he decided to confess, and it didn't go very well. So yeah, he got rejected, and they're just kind of dealing with their emotions, I guess is a good way to put it. During all this, Yukiyatsu decides that he's gonna not be a complete head, because Anaru goes to like karaoke with a bunch of her like bratty friends and some boys. Yeah, and one of the guys is like, oh man, you know, I'm real tired, I'm gonna take Anaru back. And so they leave, and he's like dragging her to a love hotel, and she's like, no, I'm not interested. And he like keeps dragging her, and Yukiyatsu is like, Hey, Anaru, what up? Yeah, Jintan's over here. You wanna come talk to us? And like gets her away from that situation. So like not as big of an as you could have been.
It's true.
But then immediately asks her out. And it's like, buddy, did you not just pay attention to what just happened? Um, but yeah, he like takes her home and basically like confirms that she also has feelings for Jintan. Um, so that's kind of a conflict, and then he face number two decides that she just Minma couldn't get to heaven, so they really need to try very hard to get her wish fulfilled so she can go to heaven. Um, so they're trying to figure out like what could this wish be, and they go visit her mom, Minma's mom, who at first seems very nice, but then you realize like she is very angry at them because they're all alive and her daughter is not.
Mm-hmm.
She also gives the diary to the kids, and so they start reading it, trying to figure out like what the wish could have possibly been. Minima also gets very mad um, because she's like, "Why did you visit my mom? Like, why did you have to bring this up to her again? Like, she didn't need that." And Jintan's like, "Why don't you ever think about yourself?" Um, which is a very weird thing to say, but he says it.
All right.
So they decide that maybe the wish was that she wanted to see this like big rocket firework thing, that she wanted to send a letter to God. um
I wanted to see a big firework.
um well, because Jintan's mother is dead, but at the time she was just sick, and so she wanted to take this firework and put a letter on it to send to God to
I don't think that's how that works.
she was like 6, to try
It's
and
gonna
get
burn up.
Jitan's mother to get better. Um, so they decide, okay, yes, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make that firework thing happen because that's clearly what she wanted. Turns out that they know some people who can do it, but they have to keep it a secret. Also, it's gonna take 200,000 yen.
It's cheap. It's only $2,000.
Yeah. So
2 G's.
Jintan and Popo and Anaru, well, Anaru already had the job. Popo gets a job. Jintan starts doing construction at night, um, and also working at the game store during the day. So his dad's like, "Hey, you're leaving the house. That's cute." Um, so he's real excited, and I told you I'd bring it back up. There are these like nosy ladies who come to the door and talk to Happy Dad, and like, "Hey, so do you know that your son's not attending school? Do you know that, he's been leaving the house but not going to school?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm just letting him do what he needs to do. Like, it's fine. He's not into anything bad. He's just doing what he needs to do." And I was like, "Good for you, man. Like, he
He's a
probably
working man.
he probably should go to school, but like, I appreciate that you're being supportive."
Yeah.
um so they get some of the money up for the down payment to do the firework, but guess what? It's shut down. The guy who was going to build the fireworks like, "Yeah, so I was told that I'm not allowed to make this anymore." They're like, "So who told you that?" And it's like, "Oh, it's this guy." And they're like, "Minma's dad."
Ba ba ba.
um so yeah, it was all like, apparently Minma's dad never had an issue with it. It was just the mom that had an issue with it.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember what exactly happens with this. I know that Jintan gets kind of like sick, but he's mostly okay. And everybody is thinking like, if this firework works out, like Minma is going to disappear, and what happens then? And Anaru is like kind of hoping that if Minma goes away, that like her and Jintan might have a chance. Um, and we also find out that the other two, um, Mr. Wigman and the Grumpy Girl, like she has super big feelings for him, but he will never notice her because he's still stuck on Minma. Obviously, he like keeps a dress that she would wear in his closet and snips it every night. Um, Also, something that she does that's probably not the nicest thing in the world to do is that at one point in school, these girls are like, "Oh man, you're so cool and you're so smart and you're beautiful and all that." And she's like, "Yeah, it looks great in a dress too." I was like, "Oh."
Wow.
So that wasn't the nicest thing to do, but that's what happens. So, um, at one point, Jintan goes to his mom's grave with his dad, and while he is gone, uh, everybody gets a phone call from his house. And when he gets back, they're like, "Why were you calling us? Why didn't you say anything?" He's like, "No, I was literally like at my mom's grave. Like, guys, what up?" And they're like, "Minma."
Minma.
So they all
Ghost call.
they all go to the secret base, and they find out that Minma can write in her diary and like write new entries. And so that's how she starts like communicating with them. Um, they're all still kind of mad that like Jintan's the only one that can see her. Um, what else happens? Oh, what?
Da 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 da.
Minma also sees like a fish in a river at one point.
Riveting.
Well, she, um, so she goes to investigate it, and
Wow, it's a fish. Who would have thought it was here in a river?
it's just like, "I'm gonna go check out the fish," and Jitan like loses his mind because he's like, "You can't go in the water again, no." So he decides that is going to go after the fish, and also just yells out that like, "Oh, by the way, I don't want you to actually disappear. I want you to stay here forever." Whoops, emotions. Um, so they start like making it a big deal for him, like, "Hey, how do you actually feel about Minmo? What were you going to say that day? Like, what do you think?" And he's like, um also another thing that there's the fight between the girls because like Jintan's stuck on Minma, this other guy's stuck on Minma. If Minma goes away, you're the second choice for both of these. I'm never going to be the second choice, says Smart Girl. And so it becomes like this big, like, grumpy thing, which is kind of weird. So anyway, they get the fireworks set up, and like, "Yay, this is going to be her wish. She's going to go be reincarnated after this. Yay." Um, and then as the fireworks about to get lit, it's gonna get lit.
It's lit.
Jintan gets upset, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't let her go. Oh no, oh no!" And he like tries to stop it, but it launches, and there is this beautiful firework, and everybody says that it looks like a flower, and that's why the subtitle is relevant.
Fireworks aren't flowers. These people need to get glasses,
Oh my god.
learn how to interpret things.
So she's excited, you're like, "Yay, fireworks!" And then like the next episode starts, and like, um, she's still here. Uh-oh.
Whoops.
I guess this isn't the wish. Um So yeah, there's been this whole like thing about what happened the day she died. Apparently, it was like this giant conspiracy between all these like 6-year-old children to try and figure out like who was in love with who. Um, and
Conspiracy theorist.
now like everybody regrets everything, and everybody's crying, and it's sad. And I was crying with them because I always cry when somebody else cries.
You are the sympathy crier.
I am such a sympathy crier. Um, so they decide, okay, we'll go to the base again. And Jintan starts noticing that like Minma is becoming see-through. And
She's back to the futuring.
he's like, wait a minute, what is going on? And you get a flashback of Minma with Jintan's mother when Minma was a kid. And it was when his mom was dying, and she's like, I'm worried about him. Yeah, he bottles up all of his emotions. I don't think that's good for him. And so Minma is like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help him learn how to cry and express his emotions.
All right.
Um, so Jintan carries Minma to the base when he realizes she's like falling apart. And he can't see her anymore, and everybody's freaking out because he's like yelling her name. And then they decide that they're doing like hide and seek. And while that's happening, Minma is like disappearing, but she writes some like final notes to everybody in her diary and then leaves them by a tree. Um, Everybody is like super sad reading the notes, and then she just says like, "Hey, you found me," and then everybody can see her and hear her, and so everybody says bye, and then she disappears. And
Hello, everyone. Bye, everyone.
um, so Jintan starts going to school again, um, with Anaru. The other two start getting closer together. Popo is still working his job, but he actually starts trying to study as well. And the anime ends because they go to the secret base and they see that there is a message that she wrote on the beam where they had written their like Super Peace Busters thing that basically says like Super Peace Busters forever or whatever. I don't remember what it actually says. Um, but anyway, that's how it ends. Yay. It was actually really good. I had moments that I was kind of like, all right, guys, really? Really? Um, and I was not expecting the wish to be that like he would cry.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he just like loses it at one point, she's like, "Oh, I'm disappearing." I'm like, "Oh no." Firework was pretty.
Kaboom.
Yeah. So overall, I liked it. It does have a lot of like odd anime tropey things, like the nosebleeds.
Right.
Yeah. But I actually like really, really understood and related to a lot of what Jintan was going through. Like I've never had a friend die like that, but I can understand the whole emotion things. Like, um, spoiler alert, I was told on Monday by my therapist that I should let my emotions out and that I need to stop keeping everything in. Yay!
How relevant.
Yeah, like I tried to cry at one point and then I just like stopped myself. She's like, "Why won't you let yourself cry?" And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it." So I get that. I get
Losing the floodgates.
I get this issue. Like I will cry when I see other people cry in anime or TV shows, but I cannot cry myself. So I understood that feeling that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was interesting that they had this character who I absolutely despised when they first introduced him because he seemed like a butthead, and then by the end of it, I was like, I get you, you're good. So he is overall a good boy. Um, and actually, the character designs on this is really, I really like the character designs. They're beautiful.
Cool.
I like how different everybody looks. I know that sounds dumb, but literally everybody looks different. So there's that. So that's that in a nutshell. Do you have
Yeah.
any closing thoughts on this anime?
Well, we just learned, or you learned, that there's a sequel film,
I want to watch it so bad.
um, which Wikipedia says it is set during the summer break a year after the anime, and the surviving Super Peacebuzzers agreed to each write a letter to Minma.
I want to watch it.
And then also there was a PSP game,
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
which apparently it is. I think it's kind of supposed to be based around just the anime story itself. The PSP game has a branching story and multiple endings made just for the game. On top of the visual novel component, Anohana, the flower we saw that day, has a communication minigame where you can talk to a 3D model of Medma every day. So there's that. Apparently, there was work on it on a English translation,
Mm-hmm.
but as those usually go, it is dead.
Yeah. Also, it was on the PSP, so
Well, there's been PSP visual novels that have gotten English translations.
that's true.
Like I played the Toradora PSP visual novel because it got an English translation. So, well, English translation ROM hack, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to watch the sequel movie though. I'm really interested in that, but Netflix didn't have that. Jerks.
Let me see if it is streaming anywhere. Oh, you can get it on Amazon Prime for $2.
I mean, I will do that.
Oh, this Kotaku article is a great start. The Anohana movie is a decent epilogue, but a poor film.
Oh God.
So that's
Yikes. Maybe I should just leave it as it is then.
maybe
Huh? What?
it's on Crunchyroll.
Is it?
Oh, this is the drama.
Ah.
That's the live action. Never mind. But I guess if you want to watch the live action, whatever, it's on Crunchyroll.
Sure.
I don't know. I can't find it like streaming in a service anywhere, but I guess Amazon has it if you want to buy it or rent it or whatever. I don't like. Again, I'm trying to find if this has an English dub. I'm loading up the Aniplex site for it. I don't know if it has an English dub. Mostly because things are. Let me click this Amazon link. Maybe that'll tell me.
Maybe.
You can rent it for $4 in HD.
Okay.
It's in Japanese with English subs.
Okay.
So I don't think they dubbed it.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see if it's any good. Moving on.
Let's move on.
All right, I watched Violet Evergarden.
The latest Kyoto Animation project. Well, not the latest, technically, because Tsurune came out after this came out. So the second latest.
Well,
it
showed up on Netflix after I finished the other one.
Yeah, it came out on Netflix after it originally came out in Japan because it's one of those Netflix deals where they hold it until literally it's over in Japan, then they put it out at another time because that's a smart strategy. I think the one thing about this series is that like all of the trailers that people saw of it were like just blown away by how gorgeous it looked, and that was like the key thing of people like wanting to watch it and everything. I think I watched like the first episode maybe. I don't even know if I finished it. But then I just never got around to watching it elsewhere just because of the whole Netflix dealio. So yeah, I don't really know much about it outside of it looks really, really good.
It's pretty.
They're making 2 films about it.
2? Jesus. Okay.
I think one's a recap and the other's a sequel. Because the recap one is supposed to come out in September, and then the other one supposedly coming out January next year. I don't know if those are getting pushed back due to what happened to Kyoto Animation or not, but
right.
I want to say that might be the case, but I don't know specifically because it doesn't say on here. Or at least that I can find.
I don't know. Spoiler alert, I didn't like this.
Yeah, that was the surprising thing.
I watched the whole thing thinking like maybe it would get better.
Hmm.
I didn't like it. Um so the gist of this series is that there is this girl named Violet Evergarden who is kind of like
She's the name of the series.
that's the name of the series. Um they said the name. Ow, Jesus, Loki. Um
He's like, don't make that joke.
I don't think he actually meant to.
How dare you?
So she is basically she starts out as like this emotionless like war tool
Hmm.
and is given as a gift from this one dude. He has a name. What's his name? He's voiced by Keith Silverstein. Anyway, it's the older brother of Gilbert, who is the major,
That just looks like a German name.
right? Dietfried, Dietfried. I don't know.
Eh.
Anyway, older brother of Gilbert, and he's like, here's this tool of war. Have fun with her. And he's like, are you okay? Hello. Um, so she's like 10 when he first gets her, and he like teaches her to speak and write, and also she just like blatantly murders people all the time. Um, so that's a thing. And you see that they're in this well, before they do the battle, there is this scene in a marketplace where Violet is talking to the major and finds this stone and is like, it's pretty. It's the same color as your eyes. And so he gets it for her. Then they're in a battle and things go bad, very, very bad. And when you see him, he has like an injury in his eye and also he's just bleeding profusely. Also, both of her arms have been ripped off, and she's just like bleeding out of the like stumps where her arms should be, and she refuses to leave him, so she starts trying to like drag him with her teeth, and he finally is like, "No, stop," and then like he tells her, "I love you." And so she survives, and they say that they couldn't find him, but he's presumed dead. That is what she's eventually told. They don't tell her until like 3 or 4 episodes in because they didn't feel like she could handle it. So she gets metal arms. That's kind of cool, I guess. Um,
I almost made a joke, but it would be a spoiler for something else.
uh-oh. Uh so the army commander that hung out with the major Gilbert takes her in, and he is running a postal service now. He also kind of looks like MP Barbicane, for the record. And originally she was going to like deliver mail for money. And this is where you meet the best character in the entire show, period. His name is Benedict. And Benedict is fabulous.
Wow, I can't believe they got Benedict Cumberbatch for this.
Oh my God. So Benedict has like messy, short blonde hair, but then he has like one piece of hair that hangs dramatically in front of his face. But also he wears like these super rad lace up pants and high heel boots to deliver mail. And I'm like,
Sure.
what a boss. Also he like twists his ankle at one point because of his boots.
That seems like that's the thing that should happen.
Yeah. Also at one point, when he's like, "Hey, this is how you deliver mail. I'm trying to teach you. Also put on this uniform." She just starts like trying to change in front of him, and he like gets super red. So you find out at that point, and then another point that like Benedict just is very embarrassed easily, even though he puts on like this facade of like, I am a tough guy and I do nothing wrong ever. So it turns out that she's like really good at that, but that's not what she wants to do. She wants to be like the auto memory doll, which is essentially a profession where these women are supposed to like write the true feelings of what people come and say to them, and then those letters are delivered because a lot of people are illiterate.
Okay.
And she's like, I want to know what the words I love you mean. That's what the last thing the major said to me. I need to know what that means. And so a lot of what the series is just her like first training to be an auto memory doll, like failing miserably, not being able to get through the test, and then like eventually one of the friends from the school is talking, and Violet like writes a letter based on that and sends it to her brother, and she brings the letter to the teachers like, look at this, she did it. And so she gets her little I graduated pin. And so she's like gradually getting better about writing these letters, and she runs into like some odd characters. Like at some one point she's like writing a letter for I think she's a princess. Pretty sure she's a princess. Yeah, she's a 14-year-old princess. And she is supposed to marry this prince who is 10 years older than her. And
of course.
Yep. So they are supposed to exchange letters publicly to declare their love for each other. And Violet realizes at one point, she's like, I know the doll who wrote his letter. I want to go chat with her. And so then the princess and the prince, who is older, end up like exchanging letters. And it turns out that like they've kind of like liked each other this whole time, which again, creepy because he's 24. Yikes. But anyway, they get together. Yay, the letters worked.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. There's a neat one where there's a playwright who he wants Violet to like help him write the play. And he is trying to get over the like grieving his dead daughter. And he basically makes the daughter like the main character of it. And one of her big wishes was that she wanted to like cross the lake with the parasol. And Violet's like, oh, I can do that. And she almost makes it. She misses by like a step or two, and he's like, you were close enough, it was fine, my daughter would have loved it. Also he's like drunk 90% of that episode. There's one with Cassandra Lee Morris where she's a little girl who doesn't understand why her mom's not spending time with her. And they have like a week that Violet's there, and she thinks that she's a literal doll. Like she's like, you're a doll. Here's my doll. You want to hang out with the doll? And it turns out that like she was just, her mom and Violet were writing letters for her birthday for like the next 50 years, since her mom was definitely gonna die. The saddest one, and the one that I really had a hard time watching, is there was one with JYB. Jib. That there is this guy who gets drunk and hires a doll. He is like in this like border area between the Civil War that's going on, and he wants to write a letter to this girl that he's been in love with, like their childhood friends and lovers and all that jazz. And he's like, I haven't even got to kiss her or anything, but I love her and I want to write to her. And so you see this scene where he is like talking with some of the guys in his group of soldiers. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, and they start getting sniped. And at one point, like his best friend that he's like he enlisted with and has been friends with forever is like, do not leave me here. Don't leave me here. Don't let me die alone. And so he starts like carrying him off with him. And then dude gets sniped off of Aiden, JYB's character. Like he is holding him and he's like gets sniped off him. So he's like, oh God, I've got to go. So he starts just like running, super hauling in the snow, starts like trying to climb up this mountain and is like crying the whole time saying like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. It's really hard. He gets shot. And then you see like Violet just like parachuting in and beats the ever loving crap out of these dudes who are about to kill him and was like, mine, leave him alone. So she takes him into like a cabin and he starts talking about his feelings and she like acts like she's typing and she says that she's memorizing his words, but essentially she's like getting down his last thoughts and like is there for him as he dies and like asks like, can you hold my hand? And it was really tough. So he dies and then she delivers like his feelings to his parents and his girlfriend. This is a real bummer. But also there's just some weird like political stuff going on. Like there's a train for some reason, and like the train, there's bombs. Also, there's like this generic bad guy who's like, I'm gonna kill you, and Violet is like, I don't kill people anymore. I don't know what you're doing. And Keith Silverstein's character is like, why don't you kill anybody? It's the only thing you're good at.
It's mean.
Yeah. And essentially like her one thing that drives her is that like that pendant that the major bought her, like the guy takes it at one point. She's like, mine. No, you cannot have that. And then just like it's a very weird scene. This entire episode just bothered me in general because like the bad guys are there and then they just disappear and there's no consequences whatsoever. Like they just fall off the train and it's fine. Um, but also there are bombs strapped to the bridge, and Benedict with his coming in the clutch, I guess, is able to just like kick one off with his high heels. Sure. But then like Violet goes down there and is like ripping the bomb off with her metal arms, but like her metal arms start to fall to pieces. And I'm like, he can just kick one off with his high heels, but your arms are falling apart. So she eventually like gets the bomb off, but then like both of her arms fall off, and Benedict grabs her so she doesn't fall into the water and die. But then like the very next scene, she just has arms again. I'm like, what was the consequence of that? Why even have her arms fall off if you're just gonna like have new arms in the next scene? Like, why couldn't you just have her get the bomb off? It doesn't make sense. I guess it was just ugh. And the real thing about this entire series that really bothers me, and I've probably mentioned this to you, is that one, again, she was 10 when Gilbert is given her, and he becomes like a father figure to her because he's like teaching her to read and teaching her to talk and trying to show her what emotions are. So by the time that like the final battle happens where she sees him for the last time, she's 14. They clarify she is 14. He's almost 30. And like there's like a romantic overtone to this whole thing. I'm like, ooh. Nope. I was very much out right then. I'm like, no. You are 29 years old. You were her father figure. Now there's like romantic parts of this. No, I don't like it. And like I've seen people debate like, well, you know, there are I love yous in many different versions. I'm like, it is made very clear in this series what kind of version he meant. And if you can't figure that out, then you have a problem. Like it is not even remotely hinted at that this is a like I love you as a father type thing. It's It's weird. Like, theoretically, he could literally be her dad.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's gross. And they kind of play a like, "Ooh, is he alive?" type thing in the last episode. Um, but they don't answer it. So like it's pretty and there are like good moments and there are good characters, but overall I was just like, I don't like this. And I was just kind of like tired of watching it by the time that I was done with it
Mm-hmm.
because it just felt like it dragged on forever.
Right.
Anyway, that's my thoughts on Violet Evergarden.
Well, time to go watch the movies.
I mean, I don't know. I just like the idea that like people are like, oh, it's not romantic, but like he met her when she was 10. Ew.
Ew.
It's gross. I don't like it. Also, there are just like some side characters that like show up a few times and then they'd never matter again. I'm like, why are you here? Why does it matter? So that's kind of annoying. I don't know. I just didn't love it. It was pretty though. I will give it that.
It's true.
But then the third one I watched, I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And you've watched this one too, so we at least like have some overlap now.
It's true. I don't know if I ever finished it. I can't remember if I did.
What?
That's just because I'm weird with shows. Let me see if I did. I don't remember.
You're telling me that you're weird with shows?
Yeah.
It's you're talking to me, who is very weird with shows.
Who?
Me.
Who?
Me.
Who?
Your friend Owl.
Who?
All right, Owl.
Hoot hoot.
What were you gonna say about this?
I didn't finish it.
That's upsetting to me because
I got to episode 7, then just didn't finish it.
What happened in episode 7?
I don't know. I
Hold
just
on.
never got all the way through it. Well, that's the Wiener episode.
The Wiener episode. So,
It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is terrible or anything. It's just one of the things that kind of just fell by the wayside.
oh man, you missed.
Like I totally liked it and everything. So
You really missed the best part of this. Then, the last 2 episodes are just phenomenal.
well, maybe I'll have to go back and eventually finish it.
You will. So how do you say her
Kaguya.
Kaguya-sama, Love is
Mhm.
War.
Yes,
Has a very odd intro song
it's good.
and intro video in general. Like they
It's
just
good.
literally have weaponry pointed at each other.
Yeah, it's good.
Also, there's like a dance off at one point.
Yes, it's good.
So it's based off of what? A manga?
A manga. Yeah.
Okay, so it's based off of manga.
I think it's a 4-koma manga as well. So, or maybe it isn't. I don't remember, but I definitely read the manga at one point. So, like parts of it.
So the gist of the whole series is just that like the student council president and the vice president are both like super smart and amazing, and everybody thinks that they're just super cool and should be like together, and they definitely have feelings for each other.
But they're too proud to admit it.
Neither of them wants to admit it because there's this whole like power dynamic of the first person who admits it like loses all the power in the relationship according to the show.
Mm-hmm.
So they just like keep coming up with like these ridiculous schemes in order to try and like make the other person admit that they were in love with each. Like it's so weird, and I loved it. It was really funny. And I told you that it reminds me a bit of like Nozaki and like how there's
totally.
like weird misunderstandings that happen
Mm-hmm.
where like there is a very blatant confession of feelings there, but it's like, oh yeah, I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So but it was cleverly done. It was really cute. God, they are hard-headed.
They really are.
They're so hard-headed. So it basically has like, what is it, like 3 skits in each episode, except for like the
Yeah,
last couple
like each episode is kind of broken up into like
subsection.
segment, and then it's like because usually each episode is not like the full thing. It's kind of like here's broken up into little sub stories and all that sort of stuff. So you get a little bit of everything as you go forward.
Um, so the first one I think is like pretty indicative of what you're going to get into with this show. Because their secretary
Mm-hmm.
of the student council is like, hey, I have these movie tickets. You guys should go see this movie. And they're like, oh yeah. He says, you know, you could go with me. And then the secretary is like, you know, anybody who goes to see this movie, I hear that they instantly fall in love. And then it just becomes like, oh no. And are you inviting me on a date? I don't know about that. And she's like, or you could go see this cute movie about dogs. So all of that is happening, but then you're also finding out that Kayu's like planted the tickets.
Yes.
She was the one that gave the tickets in the first place and was trying to initiate this whole thing so that like the president would invite her to the movies, and it's hilarious.
It's really good.
So like that's what you're getting into with the show, and that's a really good introduction to what's about to happen on it. It's just like, look at these nerds trying so hard to not confess to each other. I also love the part in this episode where like he has the box lunch and it's like, look at all these things that I made. Like, here's an octopus wiener. And the secretary is just like eating them with him, and she's like, what if I wanted one? Why won't you feed me? It's amazing.
There's a good bit in the second episode where they're doing the 20 questions bit, and like it's just like they're asking questions back and forth, and then like it's in like the student council office, and then it just slowly turns into like the old west where they're like having like a standoff.
Yep.
As they keep asking questions to each other. It's so ridiculous.
It's really, really good. Well, the 20 questions one is also funny because he realizes that he's like, is it me? Is it me she's talking about? Is it me? And then like he thinks about it a little bit more. He's like, wait a minute, this is a game.
Yeah.
She's trying to make me think that it's me, and turns out that it's a dog.
He thinks it's him. He basically eggs himself on to make it so it's not him, and then it's just Chica's dog.
Yep. It's really good. Let's see. There's this one funny part where they're trying to figure out like, oh hey, where are we gonna go on vacation for the summer?
Yeah.
And he's like, we're gonna go to the mountains. She's like, no, we're definitely gonna go to the ocean. And then she mentions like, you know, there are bugs in the mountains. He's like, all right, cool, we're gonna go to the ocean. I'll just have to get like a swimmy ring because I can't swim. We'll figure it out. And then she like looks at Chica and then realizes she's very, very busty, and she's like, no, we're going to the mountains.
We're going to the mountain. They just flip flop.
And then Chica's like, we're gonna go to this mountain, which is apparently like a really spooky mountain. There's also a subplot of like this one guy comes and asks for like love advice from the president, and the president's trying not to like let people know that he doesn't have any experience.
Yes.
And I think they call him like a monster virgin at one point in the show, which is hilarious.
And like there's a good just like basically flip of that as well, where like the guy's crush comes and sees Kaguya, and she has to give her advice as well, and she's also just like completely out of her element.
Yeah, so originally like what happens is the president's like, so what you do is you have to like cabadon her, and then it'll shock her and she'll say yes. And he's like, I call it this technique. She's like, you didn't make that up. Like that's an existing thing. So he does that, and it like she says yes, and it works. And then later on, when she goes to talk to Kaguya, she's like, "So how do I break up with my boyfriend? Like, I don't know. I don't really know anything about him." And then it turns into this whole thing of like, well, what are the positive points about him? Like, does he have a very stern face, and is he very smart and all this? And she's like, none of those are good qualities. What are you talking about? She's like, they are amazing qualities. Thank you very much. But then like the girl realizes like, oh, I actually really do like my boyfriend. I think I won't break up with him. So there's just like this back and forth with these kids that like they keep getting advice from people who have no idea what they're talking about, but it turns out to work out for them. Trying to think. Oh, the cat ear one was pretty good. Where like they're trying to get pictures of each other in the cat ears. And then she gets like, you guys are scary with the cat ears. They're banned forever from the student council room.
There's one skit where I think they're reading like a magazine. I think it's like a girly magazine, and they're talking about like.
Oh, is that the quiz, the love quiz thing?
I don't know if it's the love quiz, if it's the same thing, but it eventually gets into like talking about the baseball forms of intimacy, first base, second base, third base, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it basically becomes Kaguya like inadvertently talking about like how she thinks she knows things, and she's like, I just thought it was kissing. They're like, no.
Oh yeah,
because she's like talking about like doing things with her cousin. Like, yeah, I did this, I did it the first time with my cousin.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah. She's like, he was an infant. I'm sad that you guys don't have families that are so intimate like this. And then they're like, oh. But yeah, that is a different thing you're talking
like,
about.
Like, Chica has to go up to her and be like, this is what we really mean. And she just like, her face just goes all red. She's like, ah.
That's not what I meant. The umbrella one was really good. Where they're trying to do the whole like share the umbrella trope.
Yes.
But they both pretend that they didn't bring their umbrella. Yes. And they're like, oh, let me like look in your bag and let me see what you have. And then finally Chica's like, here is my umbrella. I have a spare one. They're like, oh.
Thanks.
What else do we have that's really funny? We have the Ishigami, the treasurer. He shows up like halfway through, and he's hilarious.
He just thinks Kaguya is going to murder him at any point.
Yep, and he continues that throughout the whole series. He just literally thinks that she is going to murder him.
Yep.
Here's the psychology test thing was in this episode. So, she like purposefully got the book for the library knowing that Chica would be into it and memorized all the questions so that she could answer them in ways that like it would indicate like, oh, it'd be a good thing for a wife to be like this. But then Chica's like, you know what, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and I'm gonna check out this one on the internet.
Yep.
And Kaguya's like, oh god, I don't know what the answer is. And the question is something about like you can imagine like flowers. How many flowers do you imagine? Kaguya's like, oh, I have like enough for a bouquet. And President's like, trucks full of flowers. And apparently the answer is just like, this is how much you have love for the person you're in love with.
I thought it was like how many kids you want.
That was a different thing.
Was it a different thing?
It was like how many kittens you would see in the cage was how many kids, and he's like 9.
I remember his being like an exorbitant amount. So
yeah, his was like 9 kittens, and she's like, but yeah, the flowers was trucks. He wanted trucks of flowers, and that was how much love he had. And I think it was considered a loss for him on that one because he admitted that he would have trucks of flowers. What else do we have? It was the wiener episode.
The wiener episode. Which is literally just Chika keeps saying wiener and Kaguya could not stop laughing at it.
And then Chika's like, I'm going to get him to say it. And like goes through different methods of trying to get the president to say it so that she will just lose her. And then she's trying to figure out like ways to stop him from saying the word wiener. Which is great. There's the episode where there are like final exams and Ishigami is about to fail. And Kayu's like, you are not failing. It won't happen.
Oh no.
So she like decides to tutor him, but essentially like she tortures him. And he barely passes, but he passes. Again, like he keeps thinking that she's just planning to murder him at any point. Oh, there's a part where she's trying to get the president to ask for a ride home because there's a typhoon and it's raining. And he's one of the things that they repeatedly say is that he's really cheap, like he's a cheapskate.
Yes.
And so he's like, oh, I don't want to pay for a taxi, but I have to go to work and it's typhooning out and the trains are shut down. She's like,
out.
It's typhooning out. And so she's like thinking, oh, he'll have to ask me for a ride. And so she's standing out like with an umbrella waiting to see what he'll do. And he just like power bikes past her and ends up spraying her with water. And she gets sick with a cold. And so the three that are left, Chika and the president and Ishigami, play a game in order to like figure out who's gonna go visit her at home because Chika's like, she's so cute and she's sick and nothing like herself. And he's like, I must go visit her. Chika cheats, they find out, and so he figures out what her cheating method is, uses it against her, and then wins. Also, there's this whole subplot about like her maid is her classmate.
Yes.
And so the maid is there when he goes to visit, and she's like, so yeah, no one's gonna be checking on this room for 4 hours. It's soundproof, but don't do anything. And then just kind of walks away and shuts the door. And he's like, oh, okay, that was weird. All right, hi, I have your stuff. Here's your stuff for school. And he ends up in bed with her. Like she pulls him in bed with her, but then like he just falls asleep because he's exhausted from studying so much. So then when she wakes up, she sees him in bed and like throws him out, like launches him basically. And then like they end the episode in this way that the maid and Kaguya are like going through her bed with like a black light to see if anything happened. I was like, oh my god, guys. And then they confirm that nothing happened.
Jesus.
There's a fight over cake. That one's pretty funny. They had to like at one point figure out like how to get over the whole like weird thing of like, yeah, you were in my bed, everything's fine though, it's fine. Sorry if my water made a weird noise.
You're fine, buddy.
And so they make plans for fireworks. This is where I was like, this is what I wish you had seen. It's so good. Also, Kaguya gets Twitter at one point, and she doesn't understand what Twitter is. But she finds out that the president has Twitter, so she gets a Twitter account, but then he has a private account. She's like, I can't ask him.
God.
Yep. So you find out that like this is kind of a sad ending to the episode. Like Kaguya keeps talking about like how her family never gave her any attention, but it was okay, and she never got to do anything, but it was okay, and she didn't get to leave her house, but it was okay, and like it's super super depressing. And then they've had this whole like they want to go see the fireworks. All four of them are going to go to the summer festival together. She's all dressed up, she's ready to go, and then like he says you can't go, and like that's how they end the episode. And it just starts with her just like bawling on the bed because she's so devastated she doesn't get to go. So then her maid like goes through this intense plot of like how to get her to go see the fireworks. So she sends out a tweet. The president sees it and he's like, okay. So he bikes over to her house, has binoculars, looks up, notices her eyes are a different color, and he's like, you have a body double. And so she has actually launched herself out the window and gone to a taxi, but then the taxi was stuck in traffic because it was fireworks. So she starts to walk it, and she's just like, I have to make it. I have to make it. I want to see the fireworks with everybody. And then like after she finishes walking, gets over there, like she hears the announcement that they're over. So she's devastated, and she goes like to a back alley and just start losing it. And then the president like comes around the corner and is like, hey, I knew you'd be here, come with me. And she's like, how did you know that I would be here? And he's like, oh, you just have to think with your mind, it's easy to figure it out. So they're all chatting, and she's like, I just really wanted to see the fireworks with you guys, that's all I wanted. And he's like, you want to see the fireworks? You'll see the fireworks. There's this place down the road in a different town, they're doing fireworks in an hour or something like that. And he's like, theirs were delayed because of rain, so if we go in this taxi, then we can make it and we can see the fireworks together. And so he like gets this taxi driver, and they're driving on like this intense highway. He like pays them extra to like go super fast, and they all get to see the fireworks like from the taxi. And she's like, oh, everybody was looking at the fireworks, but I couldn't stop looking at him and how amazed he was. And it was really, really cute. And he ends up spending like $200 on that taxi.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is funny because like they keep reiterating how cheap he is. But then the next part of the episode in the next skit area is just they're super awkward because she's like, he did some really cool stuff and I want to thank him. That was really, really nice. And he's like, oh God, she must think that I'm a loser because I kept saying all these lines and like they weren't cool at all. I thought they were cool, but they weren't cool at all. And so they're both just like overthinking everything. And yeah, I want more of this show, but I also just want them to make out. It was cute. It was a good show. It made me laugh, and it was really easy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But the last two episodes were definitely amazing. But also, like, fireworks is how Nozaki ended too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I really like that one. You'll have to go back and watch the last half of it because I think you'd really like it.
I should.
Mm-hmm. So now for your big news, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Chika's rap ending that she has in the series at that one episode.
Oh, right, she does have a rap.
It's real good.
Sorry, I'm being sniffed. It was really, really good. She's a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
Like at first I was like, oh man, she's just gonna be like a ditzy character, and nope, she's amazing. Super, super funny.
There's also a live action film of this coming out in early September in Japan.
So we're gonna have to add that to the list.
We'll have to add that to the list of live action things we need to watch at some point.
Yep.
So that should be fun.
Do you have a bald spot?
No, why are you talking to? Don't talk about my hair.
No, Max has a bald spot.
You just shaved him. Of course he does.
It's not where I shaved him.
Uh-oh.
He just got like a weird piece of hair.
He is elder.
He's not older. He is senior. There's a difference.
Is there?
Yeah, he's gonna be 9 years old this year.
9 years old.
9 years old. Anyway, your news is not that Max will be 9. Max and Loki will both turn 9 in the next couple months, guys.
Gosh.
I know.
Old fella. Oh, that's a big purr.
He had to make himself known.
He's like, yes, hello. That is the truth.
I will be 9. Please send me gifts. I accept catnip and wet
cardboard.
food. Cardboard, wet food.
Jingle jangles.
He doesn't really like jingle jangles, but he does like
he does them a lot.
He does do jingle jangles. He likes stuffed toys. And cardboard.
Chili peppers.
Yeah.
Not the actual food, but the toy.
The catnip stuffed chili peppers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What a segue.
Yep. Well, he had to get his thoughts out.
He did. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
So hello, hi, welcome. I'm gonna talk about some anime.
Yep. The anime grab bag.
It is. The anime I watched had like 6 times the episodes that yours did.
Yeah.
Probably way more.
I don't even think, even if we added all of mine together, it would come anywhere near. So, like, obviously, we can't go episode by episode for yours.
God, no. We'd be here until, like, 7 a.m. tomorrow.
But, hey, if you guys want that,
That's out there, actually.
That's out there. Y'all did a thing.
That is a thing. So, for work, at the end of last year, we were kind of talking about, like, doing, like, some sort of rewatch. And the first thing we wanted to do was, like, a big shonen series. And basically, the first series we decided upon was Naruto, which is a series I had never seen before.
I'm still shocked that I had seen more episodes of this than you had before this started.
Naruto kind of became a thing, at least here in America, like way after the fact that like I was watching anime. Because like the first time that Naruto aired in America was in late 2005.
Okay.
And by that point, I was out of the game.
And see, that's like when I was getting into the game.
Right. Like, I knew of it, obviously, because, like, you can't not know of it.
You can't be in, like, the subcultures that we're in and not be aware of it, at least.
Right. But it was just one of those things I had never seen. And obviously, like, you know, it's if you combine this along with the Shippuden, that's like 720 episodes.
Yeah, so it definitely doesn't fall under my I like short anime.
No. So yeah, we decided upon Naruto to watch, and basically starting I think in January is when we began this. We would watch 7 episodes a week, and we would talk about them. We would do kind of a Q&A format for each article, and that's how we basically watched it all the way up until this week, which is the final week of the Crunchyroll Naruto rewatch.
Wow.
We've got through all 220 episodes, and yes, of course, that means all of the filler, which was a sticking point of like, if we're gonna watch this, we have to watch all of the filler, and yeah, that was the thing. But you know, as like watching this show for the first time, I think is interesting because, I really get why like it's kind of become such like a cultural touchstone in the shonen genre, like why it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, you know, at least the parts where they are adapting the manga, like the action scenes are really good. The storytelling is you know, it's good. There are definitely issues with it, especially, you know, it's like a late 90s early 2000s type form of media, so you know some of the depictions of the girl characters are not great,
and they're like gay panic stuff too. And also just like a basically sexual assault.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, like of course, like, you know, the series kind of goes through the trials and tribulations of Naruto. Obviously, he forms up they form up like teams with all the younger ninjas who are going through their training. So he gets teamed up with Sakura and Sasuke. Of course, you know, they are titular characters for the series. The first like bits of this series are like Naruto like having this big crush on Sakura, but she just like wants nothing to do with him and wants to be with Sasuke, and Sasuke wants nothing to do with her. It's this big whole triangle. But
Whoops.
yeah. So that you see like how they go through their training and everything, how Naruto's kind of like not the best out of the three. Sasuke is like this kind of untapped genius when it comes to everything. Sakura is kind of like in between, where like she has good points of like where she can focus on, but there's other parts where she's not as good as the other two. And basically it's like, you know, their whole entire arc, you see them from their beginnings as trainees all the way up to the end when, you know, the big Naruto Sasuke split happens, which is a big old hubbub. And it's a wild ride throughout. I think some of like the key moments are like the Chunin exam arc, which is like it brings forth a lot of like the side characters in together, and you get to see kind of like who they are, what they do, and like how they fight and everything. Because like one part within the Chunin exams is like it just turns into like a tournament arc because it's a shonen show, so of course it does that. So you get to see like all these different characters fight each other, and it brings in some of like the villain characters get featured in here. Like there is a character whose name is Orochimaru. He's like a snake. He turns into a snake.
A snake.
A snake. He brings in Yawn from Resident Evil at one point.
I forgot that you mentioned Yawn in this.
I did. I made sure to mention like just the dumbest things at points when we were doing the rewatch. Like I mentioned Yawn. I mentioned a Code Realize at one point.
You did.
Because yeah, of course I'm going to do that.
Yep.
So yeah, like that's the whole thing. You get like a bunch of like the side characters are really fleshed out here. One of the like the best fights in the series comes up in this arc, which is good boy, best boy Rock Lee going up against Gaara. And like just it's literally like the animation team was like, we are saving up all of our skills for this episode in particular because the fight animation is just phenomenal. Like it's the best. It's one of the best in of the entire like run. Like it's that good. Which is interesting because like one of the few things I knew from Naruto was like this fight in particular, because there's a scene where like Rock Lee basically is like, you know, he looks very like non-imposing, specifically because he can't even use like ninjutsu or anything like that. All of his stuff is like taijutsu, which is just like fighting techniques essentially. And Gaara is like this dude who basically is like, initially he's set up as like a villain where he's just like cold, heartless, and he uses sand as his technique and basically like will just wrap people up in sand. Not pocket sand. He has like a big big jar of sand on his back, and he uses sand to basically just like suffocate people and murder them.
God.
Yeah, he is not messing around. So like these two have a fight, and like I said, Lee is basically just like unimposing, and they kind of like have like a little bit of a fight at first, and then like they back off, and Lee's like, all right, I'm gonna get serious now, and basically he takes off like his like ankle weights, holds them out, and drops them, and they like the ground like below him just explodes because they were so heavy.
Whoa.
And it's very, very good. Like that's a very iconic gif from the OG series in particular. And then basically like once you go from there, like there's just a bunch of intrigue of how like how does the Leaf Village handle Orochimaru basically trying to like infiltrate them and take everything over and murder the third Hokage, who's the leader of the village and everything. So there's a lot of intrigue in that, and then basically he also wants to like steal Sasuke because he knows that Sasuke has like all this potential power or anything. And during the Chunin exams, he basically injects him by basically biting his neck and puts a curse mark on him, which basically can like enhance his powers, but like if he uses it too much, it would basically just like eat his body alive. So Orochimaru wants to like take Sasuke and like basically like teach him how to like use that to his advantage, but also he wants to use Sasuke as like a new body, and take his body and all that sort of stuff, because that's basically how he lives, because he's into a bunch of like what's the way they describe it, it's basically like illegal jitsu. It's not illegal, but it's like kind of like frowned upon. It's like this is the kind of stuff you're not supposed to be doing, like casually raising the dead, stuff like that.
Usually frowned upon.
Yeah, usually frowned upon. So he gets into a lot of that and a lot of sort of stuff. So and he was like he basically studied under the third Hokage and then basically split from him because he was doing all this like real shady shit. And then they basically just ousted him from the village and all that sort of stuff. So all that sort of stuff happens, and that's basically kind of the through line through the original series is like trying to make sure he doesn't get his way and get Sasuke. As the series basically kind of winds down, Sasuke kind of like gets frustrated because he sees Naruto like training with like these higher up ninjas. He's basically becoming more powerful day by day through his training and everything, and Sasuke basically doesn't think he's getting like the same amount of progression in his power. Also, Sasuke's brother came back at one point, and Sasuke's brother murdered his parents and like, his whole village. And basically, like, if you've ever saw the Sasuke getting choked meme, this is where this is from. His brother basically just like beats the shit out of him, chokes him, and is just like, "You're not even worthy of me fighting you. Like, you are a piece of shit. Like, you are just worthless." So like that basically enters into his mindset as well, because like throughout the entire series, Sasuke basically mentions that like he's trying to become more powerful to enact revenge, and his revenge is like he wants to murder his brother. So once that happens, it turns Sasuke into like a spiraling puts him in a bad place per se, let's say.
Spiraling bad place. So like he has that happen, and he sees Naruto getting more strong and powerful and all this sort of stuff. So like he's just becoming like rooted with jealousy and everything, and he basically wants to find the quickest way to become more powerful. And then he realizes that if he wants to do that, he has to go find Orochimaru and train with him essentially, because that's his quick way to becoming more powerful. So basically he kind of goes off and does that on his own. He basically just leaves the village like in the middle of the night. Like the Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's teacher basically like talks to him and is like, you shouldn't do any of this. Like, you realize like all of this is like in your head. Like you're making all this worse on yourself and all this sort of stuff. But he still leaves anyways. Sakura tries to like stop him when he's leaving, and he's basically just like, I gotta go. Off. So like the end of like the actual like manga run is an arc called the Sasuke retrieval arc, where basically all of the Leaf Ninja come together and basically try and retake him back from Orochimaru's group. Things don't really go well. A lot of people get real messed up. You get to see though a lot of characters get like their own time to shine that they maybe haven't in the series prior. You see like a lot of new techniques and everything like that, and a lot of big fights that end up going real bad. They eventually get helped out by the Sand Village, which was Gaara's trio. So like his trio makes this like babyface turn after being like super villains early on, which is real interesting and real fun. You also get to see Rock Lee have a new technique, which is if he gets real drunk, he just does drunken kung fu. Nice.
It's real goofy. But basically all of this leads up into the big Sasuke Naruto fight at the end, which is definitely well worth it and well worth the wait, because it's like just full blown. They go all out with the animation. There's transformations between the two and everything. It is bombastic in the way you would want that kind of fight to be. And basically it ends with Sasuke and Naruto basically beating just the ever-loving crap out of each other. And there's basically no winner, but Sasuke is able to get away, and Naruto has to go back and just realizes that he was unable to save his friend in all this, and just like disheartened and everything. And then basically at the end of this arc, they set up like how the manga has like left off, where it's like there's one of the higher ranking ninja, his name is Jiraiya, and he's like, I'm gonna train you, Naruto. We're gonna train for 3 years, and then once this terrorist group comes back, we will come back, and you will be ready to take them on. So that's how the manga ends, and then the anime goes on for 80 more episodes.
Oh my god.
That's where all the filler comes in. Yeah.
No, thank you.
So like, there is definitely like a steep drop off once you get into the filler. Like a lot of it is just like it makes sense because like you can't have the same like level of writing that you have with the manga adaptation stuff, and especially because you're basically putting all of these main characters into a holding pattern until you are ready to begin adapting the manga again. So like none of them are going to have anything bad happen to them. None of them are going to be in any danger to where like they could die or anything, because you can't do that. Obviously, you can't kill them off in the filler.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
So like it's just this weird thing where it takes a lot of like the drama out of it. It takes a lot of like the intensity out of it. And I think that's kind of like one of the biggest bummers about it, is just like you're kind of just watching and it's just like, oh, here comes these new no-name characters that are never going to be seen again, or just going to come in. One of them will probably die or something. They'll mean something to Naruto, clearly. And then we're on to the next one. I mean, there's some fun stuff in there. Like there's actually there's a few arcs that are actually pretty good. But they are few and far between, like, because that's just the way it is. Like there's some goofy stuff as well. Some of the goofy stuff is bad just because a lot of the comedy in this series it's just not great. But it is what it is. Like it's filler, of course. Like you're just gonna have to suffer through it if you decide to watch through it. Like if you were me, and you were like, or you were me at the beginning of this year, and you're like, man, I haven't watched Naruto. Should I watch through all of OG Naruto? And like, yes, but you shouldn't. You don't need to watch the filler. Like if you really wanted to seek that stuff out, like there are probably a few arcs here and there that actually give like good backstory to certain other characters that like they don't get in the previous episodes and everything, and it's actually pretty good. But a lot of it is just bland, and it's basically a scale of bland to just outright bad. And I think like there's basically, as we were getting closer to the end, there was a lot of times where I was just like, I was just checked out of episodes because they were just nothing was happening. None of these characters were interesting, and nothing was going to happen. It was, here's some new characters. They're going to show up. They'll be here for 3 or 4 episodes. They will leave. We will never talk about them again. And we'll move on to the next set of characters that are going to be pretty much the same thing. And also, I think it was also kind of bad as well, where there were certain arcs where they were basically just rehashes of arcs they had already done. Like they had already done in like the manga adaptation episodes and had done better, and we're doing again. And you're just like, man, whew. Like I get you think this idea is pretty good, but like you've done this already and you did it way better. Also, you get around to episode 200 and they do a recap episode.
Oh God.
And it's like, here's the top 5 ninja battles, and like the list is terrible, legit terrible. Like I was watching, I was like, dude, what the is this?
Yeah, I never had to do that much filler when I watched like Inuyasha.
Right.
But God, that's a mess.
Like the only thing that like this feels similar to, like I'm sure like other big shonen series have kind of gone through, you know, their big filler arcs, but I don't know if it was like as intense as this is, considering this is, you know, you get 135 episodes in, that's the manga cutoff, and then you have 80 more just straight filler episodes to go. But the original Full Metal Alchemist run is kind of similar in that aspect, where it's like you get halfway through and then it just goes off the rails.
Yeah, like, okay, I get that. I could see that.
Which in that case, like they basically go in their own direction. It's not just like, hey, we're doing filler just to put this in a holding pattern until we're ready to start adapting everything again, or the rest of the manga. They just go off in their own direction and go with their own story, which you know,
get wild.
Yes, they do. That if you've never seen OG Full Metal Alchemist,
Oof.
Or how it basically wraps up, like I don't think you necessarily need to go all the way through all of that filler and everything, but like check out those last couple of episodes, specifically that last episode, to see where they basically put the series, how they end it. It's something else.
It's not what you would ever expect.
No.
We'll put it that way.
It's wild. But yeah, we 220 episodes of Naruto done in 8 months.
I mean,
Eight
I'm
and a half
proud of
months.
you, but also like that's terrifying.
It was a lot. Like it is weird though. Like we finished it up and we had like 3 episodes this week, so like it was obviously much shorter. And now I'm just like looking at it because like I don't think we're doing anything next week, so it's like what do I do with my nights now? Like usually it's just like Sunday watch an episode of Naruto, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday watch episodes of Naruto, and now I'm just like what am I doing? But obviously like
Finish watching Love is War now.
yeah. It's gonna be weird not having Naruto in my life for a little bit.
You're gonna have like separation anxiety for Naruto.
It's true. I'm gonna want to eat all the ramen and tell everyone to believe it.
Believe it.
Date bio.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Naruto. That is a thing.
I cannot believe.
It's also kind of bad though, because like or I guess it's scary to think that like we got through 220 episodes, but when we get to Shippuden, that's not even gonna be halfway.
Mm-mm.
Which
Good
is just
luck.
like, ooh boy.
Good luck.
Yeah. But at least then it'll be mostly back to manga stuff. I'm sure there's gonna be filler in there, but I am excited to get back to like good Naruto writing, because it's been a while. It's been a long while. But yeah, that's the Naruto. We're gonna Naruto run.
Oh my god.
The government knows about Naruto running.
If the government knows about that, that is something that we can say in the year of 2019.
Yep.
We could all go home now. It's a mess. It's all over.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's Naruto. That's our anime.
Anime grab bag.
Anime grab bag. We talked a lot about anime today.
Watch some anime.
We watched a lot of anime.
I'm watching a new anime right now, and I have like a super duper crush on the teacher.
Yes, because I told you to watch this anime after you did not like Violet Evergarden. I was like, hey, you should watch this Kyoto animation series.
Yeah.
So we will probably discuss that at some point, because I read the novel of it, the one novel they put out in English, and then didn't put out any other ones. It's a big bummer.
I saw this dude when we watched something else. I was like, oh, he's a good looking guy. And then like he showed up again when I started the series. I'm like, I'm in love with you. You're animated and you're fictional, but like, boy howdy, are you pretty. You got like floofy hair and you're a soft boy and you're wearing a cardigan. Like, amazing. I just want to like kiss his face. Watch him turn out to be like a super butthead though. Like I know you said that he gets called some things in the book, but
The big swerve. He's just a big old jerk.
God, I'd be so upset.
So yeah, we'll talk about that at some point once you're all the way through.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for this episode. We talked about Anohana, Violet Evergarden, Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Boruto's dad. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. But if you'd like more from us, go to seasonallamycheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like the Seasonal Anime Checkup and Jared and Al Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anne Ladyem, go to anneladyem.com. She's got columns and reviews. And you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup, and support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Next time we have, I think, kind of an idea of what we're doing, but also, again, it depends on your weird schedule you've got coming up, so we'll figure it out when we get to that point. But
in my defense, it's not my fault.
No, it is not. It's just you have a weird schedule coming up, and it is going to make things a little bit more complicated in terms of us recording. But we'll figure out what we're going to talk about when it gets to there.
Yep.
So there you go. We'll have something next week.